I've got Leaf from itch.io who has a story about Funko Pops. Funko Pops and itch.io and how it took down your entire website, because I remember when that happened. It was very funny to me. I talked about it on Blue Sky, but you there were more details that I was not aware of. So let's
tell the story.
Yes.
Well, it was also very funny to me, despite what happened. It was a Sunday evening. It's probably maybe like a little bit after midnight. I was getting ready to go to bed, and my phone goes off and it's an alert. Website is down. I'm like, okay, that sometimes happens. So I start investigating, and I'm trying to look at all the usual places, like did some code crash, did the server run out of memory, disk space issues. I'm like, everything looks good, but I notice I can't connect to the website at all. And typically that means there's something on the routing level, like something is preventing someone from accessing the website, even though the server is still running. So I started digging around a little bit more. I remember like a year ago, one of my hosts had like a DDoS protection error, and they like null routed the website for a bit. So I was like, oh no, not this again. But that wasn't it. Yeah. So I kept digging, and eventually I logged on to the company that hosts my domain, or I buy a domain from. I logged on there because I'm like, what else? I don't have any other options. I don't know where else to look. And I noticed the domain was on hold. Had this like weird status code. I was like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And so at first I'm like, oh, maybe I forgot to update my whois information or something. So I quickly update all my address info or something. Like, is this the problem? Nope. But then I remembered about a week ago, we got this notice. So essentially, a big component of legal notices itch gets are DMCA and copyright notices. A lot of the time it's like someone steals a game, they think it's funny to upload something they don't know. And so we typically just take it down, whatever.
Yeah.
In this case, I remember this notice I got about a week ago. It was from this company called Brand Shield. And the reason why it stuck out to me is because they describe themselves as an AI-powered brand protection platform.
Classic.
And I'm like, wow, this sucks.
Yes.
This is the kind of company that generates millions of notices. They don't even human review them. This is, for a platform like me, it's like I hate the idea of these companies just flooding us with notices like that. And I remember a week ago we got this notice for a page that presumably a kid just copy and pasted a Funko Pop product page from Steam or something like that. Pretty innocuous, but still probably shouldn't have been there. There was no game there. There wasn't anything there. It was just someone was screwing around with our page editor and copy and pasted some text. So apparently Brand Shield's bots found this page, and they went full nuclear. They submitted these very, very harsh notices to every single technology company they could find associated with us. So our hosting company, our domain provider, possibly something else I don't really remember. But yeah, they just mass submitted these notices. Just shotgun them out. And so I remember replying to these notices being like, hey, it's really obnoxious to receive stuff like this. I looked at the page. Oh, by the way, this notice was fraudulent activity, phishing going on. They used the most extreme language possible. Yeah. And so I had to reply to all these notices to the companies that I paid for hosting, saying, hey man, there's nothing here. It seems like a bogus notice, but we took the page on anyway.
Yeah.
And so I thought everything was fine. But the reason why that kind of came up that Sunday evening when the site was down is I noticed this hold on my domain provider.
Yeah.
My domain provider is one of these companies that forwarded me this copyright notice. And I remember they didn't reply to me after I said everything's cool. Typically when you have this process, they'll confirm okay, we got it, you took it down, you're good to go. And so yeah, that was it. I kind of pieced it together. They probably had some sort of automated system that after 7 days, if they didn't confirm or reply, they would just shut the website down.
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. They disabled the entire domain. So it wiped the itch off the face of the internet. Yeah. So I'm like, oh my God. So I'm trying to support message them.
Yeah.
They're a European company, so I'm trying to figure out time zone stuff. I'm kind of staying up late at this point, and they're probably not gonna get back to me. So I was like, this is annoying. I'm just gonna write a quick tweet about it, quick Blue Sky post about it, and I'm gonna go to bed. And so in this initial post I wrote, I tried to outline all the companies in this chain of failures.
Yeah.
I was I don't remember literally, but it was something on the lines of Funko Pop took down itch because they employed a AI-powered brand protection program called Brand Shield, who submitted a fraudulent takedown notice to our domain host, whose name is I Want My Name, and then they ignored our response when we tried to tell them everything was fine.
Yeah.
And then I just went to bed.
And I hear they called your mom?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Sorry if this is a much longer story than you thought.
No, it's good.
So I go to bed.
I was just waiting for the mom part.
I go to bed and I'm just like, there's nothing I can do. And so while I'm sleeping, I get a ton of calls from this like German phone number. So I wake up to all these missed calls from this German phone number. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And so I open up my computer, I check out my emails, and like the guy from the domain provider was like sending these kind of like mean emails like, we saw what you posted on social media and it did not align with our records. Like very like kind of gaslighty a little bit, like saying that there's some sort of miscommunication going on. And so like and this is also the person who's calling me, so I email him back. I'm like, no, I don't think so. Like, here's the email evidence. Like, I contact you guys, and like, something else going on. Like, I'm not really sure what's happening. And he confirmed that, like, oh yeah, we sent you a notice, but you never replied. So I literally had to like take the email logs and send it to him to like prove that we replied. And he was like, oh, okay, maybe we have a mistake in our system. My bad. So he kind of changed his tune kind of quickly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, press kind of saw this tweet because it was going viral.
Yeah.
And so they were already writing articles, and because it was early in the morning, I was still asleep. Like they got quotes from this guy.
Yeah.
And so like his like misinterpretation of the events was like published. It was just bugging me. It's it's probably not worth correcting, but it's like kind of annoying.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the first company that was upset. Next company was Brand Shield, which is the AI.
The AI jerks.
Whatever. Yeah. So they tried to like do damage control on their Twitter account, and like I noticed they would post something. People would be really upset. They delete it. They try rewording it, posting it again.
Yeah.
I think they tried that a few times.
Yeah.
No one liked what they were building.
No,
like,
of course.
It's just like clearly like huge failing on their part. They didn't try to reach out to me. I don't really care. I don't want to talk to them. Whatever. No. I just thought their fumbling was kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then finally, there's Funko. So for whatever reason, people really hate Funko Pops. I mean, I knew Funko Pops were a thing. I didn't realize just like how much people just hate them in general.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like some like cultural movement against Funko Pops.
I mean, it's like too gamer bro, and it's also like it's like Beanie Babies for sad dads, and it's also like
it's like plastic junk almost. Sorry if you're listening, Funko Pop. But like
it's plastic junk.
Yeah.
And it just. I think it reminds people of the decline of art in video games in certain respects.
Yeah. So I think like people on the internet were...
It's like Minions for video games.
People on the internet were like thirsty for a reason to hate on Funko Pops.
Yeah.
And because this happened, they're just like railing on Funko Pop's social media accounts and whatever.
Yeah.
And so Funko Pop is trying to do damage control. And so they're trying to get in touch with me. And I noticed they sent me an email, but like I was kind of had a slow morning because I had to stay up late. So I'm just like eating, it's probably around lunchtime, eating lunch with my roommate or something. So I didn't reply to their email. I noticed I got a DM on Twitter. It's like, oh, I know someone who knows someone who works at Funko Pop and they really want to talk to you. Please get back to me or something. And I was like, I don't want to deal with this right now.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm just eating lunch, relaxing. The site's back up, by the way. It was only down for like 4 hours.
Right.
Like as soon as the person who was responsible discovered what was happening, they quickly fixed that because it was a PR disaster for them. And then I get a text message from my mom. What's going on? So I look at my phone and she's like, call me back immediately. It was like, someone from the internet just called me about inflammatory statements you posted on your social media.
Oh, God.
Call me back right now.
Somebody from the internet.
I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
So I call my mom back, like, real fast. I'm, like, worried because, like, internet's a scary place.
Yeah,
like,
there's Gamergate going on.
And why do they have my mom's phone number? Like, something is not right here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I, like, call my mom, and I'm like, Mom, if anyone ever calls you, and they say they know me or they're trying to get in touch with me, just make believe they have the wrong number. Just don't even say that, that you know me. Like,
for sure.
It's not worth it. Like,
no.
For better or worse, I'm associated with a certain type of culture on the internet.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's like, just say you don't know me.
Yeah.
But my mom was like, oh, no, he was really nice. He was explaining what happened. He seemed like a really nice guy. And I told him that you're just some guy in San Francisco. You got a small company. Like he seemed really understanding. I was like, okay, Mom, but whatever.
Who was that called your mom?
It must have been like some VP of marketing or sales, some like higher up at Funko Pop. Yeah. And I think it was also the same guy who was trying to call me, email me. And so, I hung up, talked to my mom. I kind of gave her a little bit of lesson, and then I was just like, the situation is just so absurd to me.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
They're calling my mom. So I guess apparently they use. This guy really wanted to get in touch with me so bad. He tried looking me up on Google, maybe landed on one of those like weird like people databases. And for whatever reason, my old home phone was there, and that's how they discovered it.
Right. Oh, jeez. You got to take all those down.
I gotta get that stuff taken down.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it before this episode goes live.
Yeah, so that's how they call my mom. But yeah, the situation, absurd. So of course I took a screenshot and I posted on Itch's Twitter account.
Yeah.
Because why not? At this point, I'm really just milking it because the site goes down sometimes. It's not that big of a deal. Or a gaming website.
But that was incredibly stupid. It was a really and it gets all the video game likers upset about because we all hate the AI nonsense. And we don't love Funko Pop. And when you put them together to create a stupid thing where the website where we do all of our charity fundraising. In addition
to a bundle going on, you go down for 4 hours. That matters. That's actually a big deal.
Like if I had been doing the wildfire bundle at that time,
you'd be upset. I posted this tweet. It was a screenshot of the text from my mom, and trying to play it up a little, so I posted it in first person. So it was Itch's mom was harassed by Funko Pop, and that was kind of the narrative a lot of people took up, and I thought that was very funny. People are really concerned about Itch's mom and her well-being and all this stuff. And that was pretty much it. I eventually talked to the Funko Pop guy over email, and he kind of sent me this really he was concerned. He was we're really worried that people are going to send us death threats and they're going to send us all these mean messages over the internet. And, I kind of felt bad. And then I looked up Funko Pop because I was curious, and they're a publicly traded $1 billion corporation, so I kind of didn't feel bad. I don't know. You guys probably are equipped to handle this.
Yeah, he started it.
So
he called your mom.
Yeah, he called my mom.
And he's like, I can call your mom, but if people find out about my phone number, then that's a problem. So. That's pretty much the Funko Pop story. A lot of press websites picked it up because I think they also thought it was funny. I think there was a weird Vice article about me and my mom. That was absurd to me. Very good.
And it really helped grow our Blue Sky account. I think we got 40,000 new Blue Sky
that's great
followers. So if you're not on Blue Sky, that's where the indie chat is happening.
Yes, for sure. Everybody. When I did the wildfire bundle, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Twitter so that I can get maximum reach for this charity initiative, and I got a big 50 likes on Twitter. Meanwhile, on Blue Sky, I got 2.5 thousand.
Yeah, I know. Even the random tweets you do just posting games, so much more engagement on Blue Sky.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks.
Yeah.
That's been good. Now we know why Funko called your mom. R.I.P. Funko Pop.
So we're here Tuesday at 4:20 p.m. Oh my God, it's 4:20 p.m. on Tuesday of GDC, and we're here at Slugworld. We're seeking out the answers to the origin of the name Slugworld. So, Schera, can you explain the origins of the name Slugworld?
Yeah, so it begins... I had a dream where I was one of, the China level of Metal Slug 2. I was one of, I think they're called subhuman crawlers or inhuman crawlers. And
Is this with the zombies or?
They're the four. They crawl around. They're the zombies in the sewers of Metal Slug 2 Chinatown level that they can jump on the ceiling. They crawl around on all fours and they explode when they die. And me and my friends were all these crawlers, and then the Metal Slug tank was just eradicating us, and we were just exploding into pieces. And
as it's wont to do.
Yeah, exactly. And I woke up, and for some reason, the phrase slug human popped into my head, and I think that the word slug was floating around because of Metal Slug, but it was actually more the image of being a slug human, like a human who is who is a slug, and also being sort of a play on the word subhuman. And I wrote this down. I got out of bed, wrote this down on a notepad, and immediately went back to sleep. Didn't remember writing it down very well, but the note was still there to remind me of it, because I definitely wouldn't have remembered it otherwise. And that became the name of my kind of indie production company, Slughuman Productions. And so then when I wanted to do an event, it made sense to call it Slugworld as sort of the Super Mario.
The expanded universe.
Exactly. The world is kind of arguably the best iteration. We're not blowing out the scope to galaxy. This is still kind of crunchy, and we're at the world size where we want to be, exploring dinosaur levels and stuff like that.
So what does it take to be a slug human? What are the requirements?
Slug human is just something that you hear it and you either immediately relate to it or you don't, you know? But it's like, something about like a relationship to society and to your status as a human, you know, like a sense of being sort of a slug where you're an essential part of an ecosystem. You know, slugs are very important to the forest, but they're also lowly. They're kind of treated with disgust. They're literally like stepped on, you know, right? So I don't know. That's kind of, at least to me, what it evokes. Some people hear that and they're like, that's a really weird name. And some people hear that and they're like, oh yeah, slug human, like I'm a slug human.
So it filters people. It's a filtering mechanism. That's part of it, right?
A little bit. I mean, I would agree with that. I think that a lot of things, like, actually having the event name Slugworld does filter people, because it's like, if you are a Slugworld attendee, if that sounds like something you would go to based on the name, you know, then you're probably the right person for the event. And like, if you would read that name and be like, that doesn't sound like a professional networking environment for me, then it's like, don't come, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the, at least as somebody who used to live in Oakland and the East Bay, the embodiment of the East Bay versus San Francisco divide. And of course, Slugworld is in the Lake Merritt area of the East Bay. So that was Schera. She just had to walk off because she has important business to attend to. So I wanted to get that on record. So now you know, this is Liz Ryerson reporting straight from Slugworld 2025. And there you go, exclusive, the origin of the name Slugworld.
We're here at your booth.
Yeah.
We just had a guy come by who was like, oh yeah, I worked on that game.
Yeah, I saw him, like, it was a Japanese guy who was pointing at things with another Japanese guy.
Yeah.
And
he was old.
And he was old, and so of course I walked up to him to see what was up, and I asked him, you know, do you need any help, or do you have any questions? And it was Hiroyuki Masuno, who was a composer at Chemco, and he was pointing at some ephemera in our exhibit related to games that he had composed. He was saying, I made the music for that.
Yeah. Which is great, because those guys didn't really even realize that those games didn't come out.
Right. Yeah, he was talking to, I didn't catch his name, but a programmer from Capcom who was like, yeah, we never see the overseas games. I didn't know about any of this.
Yeah.
He was like, I didn't know about, because, I mean, for context, we have an exhibit on the GDC show floor called Lost Levels, and kind of named after my website from 2003, but yes. Really it's an exhibit about games that never came out for the Nintendo Entertainment System. A lot of that Chemco stuff was announced and marketed, but didn't come out. And
right.
Yeah. Oh, and where I was going with that was that the Capcom guy was like, oh, I didn't know about California Raisins by Capcom. It's like, well, that was US only. Yeah.
Right. And then we also learned what they call American-style adventure games in Japan.
Yeah.
Because he was calling them point and click.
Yeah.
And it turns out the American-style ones, even if you're not actually using a mouse, they call them point-and-click adventures. I'm not 100% sure if he was right.
I'm not 100% sure either, but
it was interesting to hear.
I mean, let's also keep in mind that we were discussing Deja Vu,
right?
Like which he composed the NES version of.
Yeah.
And Deja Vu, in its original form, is literally a point-and-click. Like it is a Macintosh game where you point and click and drag.
Yeah, so it's possible he's referring to kind of the original and...
Right, whereas, I mean, well, what are American adventure games on consoles? Is that even a thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I think he was just thinking of things like King's Quest or whatever.
Yeah, could be. So you also had some other interesting moments.
Yeah, I actually, one of those kind of fun for me was I was going around shooting B-roll of people like looking at and playing things, and I was behind a long-haired person playing Buzz and Wall Dog, which is a game from Korea.
Yeah.
And filming them for quite a long time. And then they turned around and said, "Oh, hey," and it was Derek Yu. It's like, "Oh, hey."
Yeah, that's good.
So one of our kiosks is actually our digital library, the VGHF Digital Archives, or whatever we brand it. I don't know. That's what it says on the kiosk thing, but I think Phil told me I did it wrong. So my bad. But
sorry, Phil.
I looked over and someone had pulled up an article from like the late 80s from the Journal of Computer Game Design, which is already like, huh?
Yeah.
And like, you know when you search for something and like that term is like highlighted automatically, right? That's how our thing works too. And a name was highlighted. It was William Volk. And I know who William Volk is. He's an old game producer. I'm like, who is looking at William Volk? And it's William Volk.
Yeah.
And he was, I don't think he was here to like navel gaze about his past or anything. He was actually having a conversation with two young people who were asking him about AI and what he thought about it. And I think he actually brought them over to show him something he wrote in order to illustrate some of the thoughts he was trying to explain to them, which is like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That actually evolved a little bit, that interaction, because we have like a backup of that guy's like files from Activision from back in the day. And Phil was like, oh my God, it's William Volk. And he like went and found, because he just has it on a hard drive, I guess, in his pocket. And he showed William and he's like, oh, this is great. And he's like, yeah, is it okay if we he's like, yeah, and he signed a deed of gift for the stuff of his on
the show
site.
floor.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, kind of fun.
It's fun to write a deed of gift for something that's like, so we stole this. Can we have it now?
This fell off of a truck, and we have it.
Yeah.
Can we have it for real?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And also, you were talking to Burger Becky.
I was. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, there's actually a couple of fun things here. So, we're looking at the show floor right now. We're looking at the exhibit, and there are playable game kiosks, right? But then on the back of the kiosks, I kind of put these 7-foot tall signs explaining some concepts, right?
Yeah.
So, why it's interesting that these games are here and didn't come out, and one of the signs, one of them's about like, it has a bunch of box art for like packaging that was done, and one of them is just this sort of, it almost looks like a war memorial of like names of people that died or something, but it's like all 552 titles that I've tracked over my career, and
that haven't come out.
That didn't come out.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't mean they're lost. Yeah. Like, we have a bunch of them we found, but just haven't come out. Or, a lot of cases are nonsense. Like a magazine got something wrong, right, but I still track it as something that needs investigation. And during GDC, someone uploaded a new unreleased old NES game. It was a port of Sensible Soccer. So I kind of want to go over there and like put a little sticky note or something, because it's like, this is still happening live. Yeah. The other thing that's happened live is, so Burger Becky was here, Rebecca Heineman, programmer's been around forever, and she reminded me that she kept most of Interplay's archives. So I brought her over to this other sign, which we're looking at right now, that says, "Are these games lost forever?" ? Very compelling. And it's screenshots that I've scanned of games that we have photos of that have not been found. And one of them is The Lord of the Rings for the NES by Interplay. And I brought Becky over and I pointed at it and was like, was that real? Do you have that? And she's like, oh yeah. And she told me who designed it. She's like, yeah, I have that. I can send that. So I don't actually have it now, but if I did, well, maybe, we'll see. Maybe. But if she did send it, and I'm kind of tempted to find her and just be like, is this something that's like in a Dropbox? Can you just send it? If she sends it, I want to kind of go over there with a Sharpie. Yeah, and like exit it out. Like, we got it. Yeah. We got it, boys.
We did it. That's very good. Yeah, it seems like it's a fun energy in this exhibit. Because you got a mix of people finding out about this stuff for the first time, and people like reminiscing about the things that they actually did, and learning about or remembering things that they did that they had no recollection of or whatever. It's
there's been a few like I thought I had this game. You know, situations also where like, I remember this. Like, no, you don't. You literally
guess
don't.
what?
That's been fun. There's also been some confusion that I had to address. Like in that glass case, there's a bunch of prototype cartridges, right? And as you know, they just kind of look like junk sometimes, right? And people would scavenge parts from different cartridges. And we happen to have a copy of an unreleased conversion of Chip's Challenge for the NES. And the whoever made the demo cartridge, probably the programmer of the game, he scavenged a Legend of Zelda cartridge, and it had the label on it and everything. And after the third time, someone went, "Oh, Zelda, I had that." Or like, "Oh, that's a prototype of Zelda." Like I just took it out of the case because it's like, you're missing the point.
Yes. You're not.
Gallery design is not something I think I know how to do, but I think we did it.
Well, it's you're workshopping it.
Started thinking about it, and it's like, so we're looking at California raisins, and I was thinking about it. It's like, I had a version of this at Classic Gaming Expo 2003.
Right, which is I think when I met you.
When we met, right? Like, I have done versions of this exhibit
forever
for like 23 years now.
And California Raisins
was in the first one.
Yeah, it was like, it has been a part of your exhibition life since then.
It's only the second time I've shown it, but
that's funny because to me, who's known you now for a long time, I'm like, well, you always have this one.
Yeah, right. Because like the other time that I did an exhibit with this subject matter, I had that one. Man. So the reason this exhibit came together, I guess, is just what we're talking about. Doing this exhibit at GDC, I don't even know if I'm going to do it again. Like it doesn't really make sense to us as a company, like financially or anything like that. They don't really pay us enough to make this worthwhile. I'm really here to see, like, okay, in lieu of money, do we get something else out of this? I'm still not sure. We'll post-mortem it. But point is that this year I asked for more money and was told no. And so I was like, okay, I need to not spend forever like building something from scratch. I need something that I can do pretty quickly. And that's how I landed on this, because it's like, this is something I know really well. Like everything in that glass case is like in a box in my office because that's my research box. You know? And so I ended up doing that. Like, okay, we'll do unreleased games for the NES. It's like, I need a name for this exhibit. I couldn't think of a better name than Lost Levels. We kind of nailed it 23 years ago or whatever. And so I put it together and I put it out, and it just didn't occur to me until like it was up that like, I think I just built like a temple to my own research.
That's kind of what a museum, especially with regard to like archaeology, especially digital archaeology, winds up being. So
but like all of these games that are on display, like I preserved. And that is statistically likely when it comes to the NES. You know, most of them I had some hand in, but point is, it's been really weird looking at these signs and being like, God, this is my life. Like, this is the last like 20-something years of my life has been this. And it's just, I feel naked. But I also feel justified. Because I think I've been able to demonstrate that this isn't like my weird research kink. That this actually is interesting. Actually, Burger Becky really validated a lot of my perception on this.
How so?
My educated guess, understanding of why a lot of these games didn't come out is that manufacturing was the risk. So a lot of these games were developed.
Printing ROMs was expensive.
Exactly. So you know, game dev might cost like $100K back then, right? But when it came time to actually manufacture the cartridges to sell them, you might be paying Nintendo like $2 million from the bank account. And what Becky explained to me was that it was a 6-month turnaround from then to even get the cartridges.
I hadn't thought of that.
So by the time a game's done and you're ready to like sign the order form, it might make more sense to just write off the $100K than risk the $2 million. And so you just don't produce the game.
I guess because you see what the market is like by the time that this time has passed.
It's like maybe that fad's over. Maybe people don't like California raisins anymore. And so we're looking right at that sign there. The NES had a secret library. Was the headline, right? And that to me is the core premise of this. It's like these aren't, when a game gets canceled today, it's usually because it's not working, right? If it got canceled back then, it might have been a completed game that on average is as good and valid as the ones that came out. It just didn't come out. And that's what I was trying to demonstrate.
There were a lot more reasons.
And all these games, well, for the
reasons
most part,
for raisins.
For the most part, these games are like real games that are done. And I don't know, it's neat.
Yeah, it is neat.
I'm not weird.
That's right.
Can you introduce yourself and the game attached to the self?
Yeah, I'm KK Dream. I'm part of the very prodigious studio, which has designed the hottest trading card game coming out, Network King. You play it with business cards, so there's finally a reason to have them in your wallet. If you win the first ever tournament, which we hold already, then you will win nothing. It's very exciting.
I'm excited.
Yeah, scoring's based on vowels in the name. So make sure you get people, 2 last names, middle name, nickname. Their profession will determine who they can lay off and hire. So you want to make sure you get a nice, diverse portfolio. Yeah.
That's always important. I always said that. Everyone who comes up to me, who's, a young person, is like, how do I get into games? I'm like, you got to get a diverse portfolio. And they're like, what are you talking about? And I just say, you'll know soon enough. So, do any of you guys have something to add? Read the website.
Yeah, we do have a website at networking.birdcom.biz for you to learn about business, making money, and networking. All those things can be found there.
Networking, money making, business, all those words, all featured on this website. Also, the game that you're making is called Price of Flight. I don't know if that's important to mention, but anything else before we log off? Any important comments?
I'd just like to thank the beautiful city of Oakland for being the town. Yeah.
I'm here with Alexander Martin, a.k.a. Drawkin. He's been expressing many feelings about gameplay and whether or not we should kill it.
And we should kill it. We should kill it, all right.
He's been on one, as the kids say, the entire week. So can you give me a sampling of your thoughts while you're still worked up?
We should kill gameplay because it's bad and gets in the way of human expression. Gameplay kind of has like a very, very limited set of emotions. I don't care. People can call it fun. I don't fucking care about, not that I don't care about fun. I don't care about calling it fun. I'm just like, when you're playing a game and you're doing the gameplay and you've got the tasks, I just want to taste the blood. A person makes a game, they bleed into it, and I want to taste nothing but their blood, but they feel the need to, and I understand. When I made Starseed Pilgrim, I had kind of an emotional idea, and I put it into Starseed Pilgrim. And looking back on it, it was kind of simple and stupid, but the problem was that no one talked to me about it. People said, which is fine, but I'm just like, people didn't really see it or they didn't care about it, which was fine, but the problem was they talked to me about all the other stuff, and that was 12 years ago, and I was 20-something. I was like 20, and so every person from the internet said, hey, you're like the coolest person on Earth. That's how it felt, and I was like, you know what? I am the coolest person on Earth. I made the coolest gameplay that could possibly exist, and then I was like, you know what? I think I'll just make more cool gameplay, and it's 12 years later, and I'm still dealing with figuring out, the consequences of feeling that way, because I thought, I was like, yeah, I'll make the next coolest gameplay that exists. And now here I am. I'm trying to kill gameplay because I think it was all, I never really cared.
It was all a ruse.
It was all, well, it wasn't a ruse. I think it was me. It was more like a misdirect. I was like, this is an emotional thing, and it's very, very scary to share it. There's like a metaphor that I came up with recently, that there's like a little treasure chest, and I put it at the bottom of a big ocean. And Starseed Pilgrim is the water in that ocean. That is the gameplay of Starseed Pilgrim. You do the puzzles, and then whatever you figure out the rules, and it's cool. People like it. It's fine. I liked it too. I made it. There's a craft to making games. Who knew? And you do the gameplay, and then you get little bits of poetry, and then eventually those little bits of poetry kind of glob together to become something that is like a little bit just simple and shallow. This isn't what it's about. But if I was afraid of dying, really afraid of dying, and I made a game about it. And you get to the end of the game, you play all this gameplay. At the end, it's like, hey, like these 10 poems are saying, man, you know what? Dying's pretty scary, right? And that's scary to admit sometimes, especially when you're younger. I think as you get older, you get better at expressing things and receiving feelings from other people about your feelings. So Starseed Pilgrim is this chest at the bottom of the ocean, and the water in the ocean is gameplay. And I'm like, you know what if I care about only the chest? And I made these games that expire in a week, and these small experiments. And this was like, I think part of what made them work is I made a little chest, a little emotional something or other, and I would put them in a little pond, a small pond, in a pool in my backyard, in a kiddie pool, in a puddle. And finally, people were like psychoanalyzing me, and I was like, okay, cool, so you got the chest, you saw it. I don't care what that person. They could be right or wrong. I don't really care. Like, what I cared about is they saw the chest. And hopefully they felt something because they saw the chest. But I finally, I don't know how many people played Starseed Pilgrim. Lots of people played it. And some fraction of those people ever talked to me about it. And I don't think any of them said to me something that was like good evidence that they'd been to the bottom of that ocean and they'd seen the chest. Maybe they did, but I never got that experience. And then finally, I made these tiny week-long games, and I had a little chest with no water, and people got to the chest. And I was like, oh, this is the shit. This is what I wanted all along.
So draining the water?
Draining the water is killing gameplay. Drain the water.
Not draining the swamp, though.
No, not draining the swamp. Wait, is that like a euphemism for something?
That's like a Trump thing. It's like a political thing.
Yeah, no, this isn't a political thing. This is like a make art that is you thing. So then I made.
What were you saying about the ship in the bottle earlier?
Right, the ship in the bottle. So this was about kind of randomness and procedural generation. I feel like I've tried to make games with procedural generation before, and I think even when I was interested in gameplay, but designed gameplay, even when it wasn't an emotional thing, I was like, I want to design some cool levels. Trying to make cool levels, or trying to make levels that do anything at all with intent, trying to do that while through a procedurally generated thing is so frustrating. It's horrible. It's like, so I was saying it's like building a ship in a bottle. And this is, I guess people build ships in bottles, and it's all right. Like, they can do it, and there's something impressive about the craft. But I'm also like, if what I really care about is the ship, why would I build it in a fucking bottle with this stupid tool? It sounds so frustrating and really annoying. And procedural generation and randomness, there's a lot of I want to say industry or market forces that say, hey, your game should be infinitely replayable. And so people do these things. I think if you want to do these things, you should do them. But some people do them like I did them. I say some people, I will own it. I did them. I made procedurally generated levels, but really I just wanted the levels to do something. I wanted every level to do something, and trying to make levels that do something or whatever through a procedural generation algorithm is this horrible thing that I would never inflict upon anyone. You should Gen AI also ripped a hole in my brain this way. I was like, this is dumb. I just want to I feel like people there's this push. It's like a tech thing. It's like, why would you make one piece of art when you could make something that can make a million pieces of art? And it's like, well, the thing is, you should make the one piece of art because then you know how it's made, and because you made it, and someone else can look at it and they can say, hey, because you made it, I can see the decisions that you made. This is where the bleeding comes in. This is the blood.
Why would you make something just to create more waste, basically?
I love not creating waste. I love not taking up space, but that's a different thing.
Okay. Anything else that you have to add? These have been wonderful thoughts, and I appreciate them.
The chest in the water metaphor, hopefully it's okay for me to return to it. I made these games that had a little emotional thing, and the thing I said at the beginning about Starseed Pilgrim's message being kind of simple, I didn't realize that actually until this week at GDC when I was talking about it. But I got to the bottom, and I drained not the swamp, I drained the ocean. I had killed a lot of gameplay, and I was like, here's just a chest, and people were looking at it, and I was like, well, I've done it. But these emotions are pretty simple. They're not that deep or interesting. And I finally, over the past few months, it hasn't taken a long time, but I mean, the whole practice has taken a long time, but I made a game and it feels like 50 chests. Just 50 slightly waterlogged chests in a massive pile. And I was at the indie hostel, and I was showing some people, I guess I won't name their names, I don't know, they're cool people, I don't know whether I should name them. Anyway, they were like, hey, can I try your game? And I got them to try it, and so it was 3 a.m. a.m. in the morning, and we were just hanging out in the lounge, and they wanted to play it, and I was like, cool, you can play my game. And I was crying. I was like weeping as they played the game. I was very emotional, and I was like, I should probably like sit over here so they don't notice that I'm crying while they're playing my game. And I was like,
crying in the indie hostel at 3 a.m.
And it was, that was something.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Wish list my game, The End of Gameplay, on Steam. It's not on Steam yet. I don't know what I'm doing.
Do any of us know what we're doing is the question. The answer is no. Thank you so much. That was almost 9 minutes of pure, unfiltered
killing
insight.
Killing gameplay. Chell Wong taught me how to do like Balisong tricks. The Balisong, like the butterfly knife.
Oh.
I'm gonna learn how to fucking butterfly knife Balisong gameplay. It's gonna be awesome.
That sounds great. That sounds very technical.
It is. It's, well...
So gameplay is technical, but also the killing of gameplay is maybe even more technical.
The killing of gameplay is... I would agree with that. I think I spent a lot of time doing a lot of design work to figure out exactly what it is that I don't like. I mean, people tell me I'm wrong about this. People are like, well, at some point, there's stuff that you just kind of got to do, and it's going to suck. And I'm like, I don't think there is. I think anytime something sucks, you should replace it with something that's cool or get rid of it, and then only have stuff that you love. I think that's great, and I don't understand why anyone settles for anything less than that.
I think David Lynch said something when you're settling, when you're making those sort of compromise. He says it's such a sadness. So maybe that's what it is. It's such a sadness when you have to do that stuff.
I agree, and I think the line between having to do something and choosing to do something is very fine and subjective, and I would never look at what someone is doing and say, oh, you think that you have to do this, but you're actually choosing to do it, and so you should choose not to do it. I think that sometimes you really do have to do something, but I agree that it is such a sadness when someone is doing that. I forget exactly the phrase, the compromise.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Alex. Those were great insights on the nature of kill gameplay. Check out Alex's Blue Sky, where you will see more unfiltered thoughts about the nature of killing gameplay, and subscribe to Alex's newsletter and join his cult of gameplay killing, which I'm sure is soon to come. So anyway, thank you. Hello, we are at the Expo Floor, GDC 2025. It is Thursday at 1:33 p.m. and we are starting out with disappointment because there are crepes that are apparently free. Did you say that they were free, Ty?
They're free for us.
Oh, well, I don't know if they are or not, but there's quite a line, so we decided not to wait in it for at least the time being. So we're starting with disappointment.
There's no such thing as a free crepe.
It's true, Max. That was Max Krieger. Okay, so we're starting at the far end of the expo floor. Right now we're looking at, what is this, Nikon? What is this?
Like
I keep misreading this as VidCon, as in VideoCon, but it's Vicon instead.
They cut out the bottom part of an N to make the V, so it just looks like part of an N. This booth is not very interesting. There's like some scaffolding. It's black. What do you get? Okay, some kind of motion capture thing. Is that what you would guess?
That's what it looks like. What I've got my eye on over here is servers.com. It is your number one stop shop for servers.com.
If I didn't know that, I didn't know where to buy servers online. I'm glad that somebody is called servers.com, because otherwise, if I had to shop for a server online, I'd be screwed.
So there's a sort of red fluorescent trim. Can we walk this way, actually? There's sort of a red fluorescent trim around the sides, like gamer lights. It looks like a gamer computer was made manifest in a booth. So I guess that's what servers are about.
Are red gamer lights evil? Are we doing the Jedi versus Sith thing? Does a red gamer light mean that you're an evil gamer?
I don't know. I think it conjures up the general idea of gaming, and that you might be entering a world of gaming that, you might encounter a lot of difficulty, but you are fully equipped to handle that difficulty. So that's what I think of it as. More motion capture looking things.
It's really unclear like which of these are mocap, which of them are like AI slop animation, and what sort of combination of those things they are.
We have 2D AI Pixel Universe, Rug RPG or Ripco Incorporated. We have Fenfire Marketing Automation. That looks more corporate. This other one looks more indie game Mark 1. Maxon. This looks very gaming.
It does seem like we're deep in the sewer of AI garbage over here.
OVH Cloud, yeah. I mean, we need to experience it though. We got a controller that looks like some kind of Cronenbergian thing that has a bunch of paint splats over it to look like graffiti, and it says "Gaming for Life." We have some much more corporate monitors here, and this is an interesting IKEA type chair design. Where did Max go? Max, do you have any insight on the design of this shelf, whatever you want to call it, or the chairs?
Kind of like an AliExpress Herman Miller, I would gauge.
So it's giving AliExpress Herman Miller. This is why we have Max here. Max is great at elucidating that. Okay, so apparently Alt Control is on this side of the floor. Face Good, what a name. This is a very spare booth. It looks very sad. Universal Facial Capture supports any cameras and facial rigs, AI-powered auto-solving, high-precision automation results. So we are around the Alt Control GDC, which is usually close to the IGF booth. So it's interesting that they put it over here, sort of buried back here. Maybe they're kind of just trying to mix it up. It's not the worst thing, but I'm quite surprised. I mean, we could look and react to them, but that's not really what we're here for.
It looks to me like they've specifically given them more room for their controllers, like they're cordoned off by booth, which for some games honestly might be a good idea. There are probably more games with full body control. Maybe that's why they moved them over here.
The juxtaposition of Alt Control next to the AI slop sewer really shows us in GDC 2025 that the old world is dying and the new world is struggling to be born, and it sure is a struggle.
Now is the time of gamers.
Now is always the time of gamers. But yes, each game sort of has a booth the size of a normal booth, which is actually kind of interesting. They're giving them a lot of space. I guess Alt Control is always an attraction every year that people enjoy, so there's more of a desire to provide bigger booths and sort of entertainment in the midst of the more corporate stuff.
I was about to say, I do wish the new world would already get the hell up and be born already, because I am tired of waiting.
You and me both. Okay, we can see the liminal weird scaffolding angles here. We're aware of the skeleton of the conference floor once we walk on the outside and see the restrooms. If you've never been to Moscone Center, it is quite the sight. It makes you start to feel anxious about your own mortality. But that's what empty conference areas kind of do. I imagine if you work for the company that owns this or whatever, then you would get used to this kind of thing and it would just look normal to you. But to me, it's like it looks wrong.
We found the GDC back rooms.
Yes, it's very much the back rooms, these weird angular. But this is always, you have to enter the back rooms to go to the bathroom, where they have sort of template clip art images of San Francisco and some red The Shining-esque bathroom paintings. So yeah, and restrooms is in giant letters, which I will admit makes it easy to find them. But okay, so we're walking amongst Alt Control, but on the other side we have more AI stuff. We have Mario, top the Mario leaderboard and win a Lego set with the couch-based Mario. Super Mario World Mario is sitting on top of Yoshi. I don't know what this has to do with Couchbase, the gaming data platform for cloud, mobile, and AI. Again, a fairly small booth, but apparently they have some tie-in with Mario and Fortnite here. This is Sashimi Slayer that I'm looking at right now for Alt Control GDC. A lot of games, a lot of controllers. We have Fast Spring, a D2C payment platform you can trust. I don't actually know what D2C means.
Direct to consumer? Dev to consumer?
Possibly. What do you think D2C means?
Direct to cream.
So it'll get you straight on the cream.
Cream, of course, means cash rules everything around me.
So we have like a what is this?
It's a dodecahedron, but using one-sided mirrors. So as you look inside, it looks like it goes to infinity, and it has blinking LED lights in it, and it looks very, very pretty. I wonder if they'll give it to me if I ask.
Yes, it is the only interesting thing about this booth. All right. So we're at the end of the old Control GDC. Again, we're not really here to describe games that, might actually be interesting or engaging to play. This shower one looks interesting, though. This is like a shower booth. It's called The Shower Must Go On. I'm not sure about that pun, but I like that they've constructed basically a mini shower booth with that's kind of cool.
We're approaching my favorite booth over here. It just simply says, "This is games. This is Wales."
Yeah, Wales. Don't overlook Wales. There's Wales Interactive, who I've talked about a lot before. Look it up. Carnegie Mellon University, there's a little booth. For some reason, next to it, more AI stuff. I don't know why this...
Motion is your next AI. Motion is your next AI.
I don't understand why there's AI stuff in the... I guess it's just mixed up a little more. They're going for...
It's just who can pay for the booth, right?
Yeah, I guess it's a little more mixed up in its curation this time around.
Yeah, I'm noticing there's some pretty big names missing. I have not seen Unreal, Unity, or Microsoft here yet.
We might run into them. There's Meta over there, a quite small 10-cent games online gaming solution. So they created a giant blue box with blue LED, blue sort of trim lights to contain whatever insights happened therein. And then there's an exhibition of games from Wales, apparently. I think Wales actually gets government funding to support some of these games. So, but it's games. Some of them are not interesting to me, but it's still cool to see real games. Okay, this is some kind of motion capture thing again. They have a sort of weird large DDR pad that is sort of highlighting. It's green and black. It looks a little cheap, to be honest.
Visible latency.
Yeah.
I'd also say it doesn't look very accurate. It looks like a Kinect in terms of quality of motion capture. I know this having used a Kinect for motion capture at one point. I would not ship anything with this quality of animation.
I guarantee you a furry can DIY better motion tracking for VR chat in an afternoon.
See, this is why I'm glad to have you guys here. Because these are great insights. In the back, we have BH Haptics with this very yellow color, sort of a light yellow, not the kind of yellow that Ty's Camaraderie website has. And there's a little booth. There's some chairs, again giving IKEA, giving AliExpress, and another motion control thing. We have Templar Media, Knights of Templar Media. Okay, I think this is just a publisher.
The Zeopod, something that looks like a giant D20 if it was designed by Tesla.
Yes, it very much does. 8K impressive, immersive, as light as an apple, weighing only 189 grams. The big headset designed for extended use.
But what they're actually showing us is this sort of geodesic contraption that's about 4'10" tall, and I hope I can be imprisoned inside of.
Yeah, it's white and black. It has a very sort of tech. Yeah, it's a very Tesla aesthetic, to be honest.
This is the shit they did ketamine in altered states.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, within the 10-cent booth, it says Spark More. I don't think I want to spark more.
10-cent is the only publisher that has money this year.
Yeah, I don't think I want to spark more, though. I think I want to spark less, honestly, at this point. This Pokey booth is really strange, but I want to walk over here first. We have more motion tracking. Oh, and of course, back here we missed ClickHouse, Diversion, Game Ready Control, some smaller booths. Diversion has this weird sloth logo. Then we have a very pixelated, what is this? IGA Studio, self-developed games incubator Okay, so this is not related to technology. It has a very early indie game sort of programmer art kind of logo. Yeah, I'm surprised at how much random things I see that have like pixel art logos of things that look like an indie game from like 2010.
We're looking right now at a booth called B Haptics, which is a sort of suit that...
Oh, I was calling it BH Haptics. Okay, you're right, B Haptics.
But yeah, it's a sort of suit that punches you, I guess. And since we know it's illegal for men to touch each other, this simulates you having physical contact with your bros and having affection with the boys in a way that's safe and you can do inside your goon cave.
Oh, we have the Tact Glove, the Tact Suit Pro, the Tact Suit Air. I am not making this up, folks. These things exist.
I do know people that legitimately use haptics suits, but in the context of VR. So like the hands to like go out and touch somebody in the chest to be touched by somebody else. But a lot of their solutions are like usually DIY. I know somebody that is making DIY haptics gloves personally. So it's interesting that they're choosing like tactical, getting shot at, getting punched versus like getting hugged by somebody. I think that would be a much better use case. Well, it's definitely a use case that they're going to get the most money out of, I think.
I support tactical hugging.
Yeah, the techno-weaponization of gay masculine pining. It's giving very Metal Gear right now.
Yes, they have it displayed very lovingly like in a museum. Okay, so we have this little court here that's netted off with scaffolding for the OptiTrack. This is a little, I guess, size of a court. I mean, it's a big booth, but it's a small size court of like, I guess, pickleball that they're playing.
Yeah. You have a system that's OptiTrack and a system that's Capture. Capture is the markless, so there's no one in a suit, and then the OptiTrack is using all the markers on there. And the benefit here is that you're using the same cameras, taking that same stream and streaming to two different platforms, and then streaming them into Unreal.
Okay, thank you. What's your name?
JC.
Okay, thank you, JC.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. That's great. So that was, you heard from JC from OptiTrack right there.
Yeah, and what JC has built here appears to be some kind of prison containing two pickleball players who are covered in little dots, of course. But I'm wondering if this is to keep us out or to keep them in.
Always a great question. Okay, Original Force Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2. This is just a little booth. There's not anything being shown here. I guess there's some clips. You have a golden ticket. I'm not going to take that. You can take it if you want to.
Golden chance to make your day.
We're standing on carpeting now, which I always love when booths are carpeted. Feels like you're entering in a little world. Boost your game. Okay, so this is trusted by the most demanding AAA studios in the world since 1999. Original Force. Wow, this logo is hard to read. Is it in Chinese? I guess.
No, it's it has a line through the text, and that makes it hard to read, I think.
The logo, I think, is in Chinese, but yeah, it does have a Star Trek sort of weird line through the text with the logo. Oh, and look over here, we have games made in Germany, a very white, heavenly, but also sterile, circular sort of cover on this like frame. And it feels like it's giving hospital/heaven.
Airport lounge too.
Yeah, but it kind of has. If you imagine new age music being played in like a 90s style adventure game, although a little more tech than that. Oh, you're somebody. Wait, where did you get that?
Oh, somebody gave it to us.
Oh, somebody gave us a thing that says you're somebody. It's for the badge. Okay. So over here we have Fmod. I know what Fmod is. Someone showed me it, and perhaps I might use it. We have some video game music vinyl being sold here too, from Black Screen Records. But yes, we have Fmod, very gamer aesthetic. Except black and purple trim, the solution for adapted audio. If you know what Fmod is, I hear it is quite useful. Okay, we have a Dell NVIDIA IDGA booth, and for some reason in the back they have the guy from Zero Wing.
Zero Wing reference. We got, cats.
So this is, there's no chance to survive, make your time, etc. You know the rest if you're above a certain age, and if you are not, don't look it up. Oppo One Plus. This looks like a giant gaming PC tower.
Cell phone, it looks like. It says conquer every drop. as their slogan.
Yeah, it's a cell phone, but the booth looks like a giant PC tower. It's like a caged off. It's carpeted, it's black, and you got green trim. It's kind of weird logo here. The booth I'm most fascinated by is Pokey over here, so we got to walk over here. Sorry, Dell. Sorry, Game Driver. Some of these other ones, they're just not interesting enough for us to talk about. But we're headed to the most fascinating looking booth that I want to linger on a little bit, because I want to get your thoughts on this Poke. I want to get your thoughts, especially Max, on the design of this Pokey booth. Let's get a good look at this. So how would you describe this booth here?
Oh, kind of like an 80s Pomo Bauhaus a little bit. We have the grid texture, which I'm a big fan of.
Children's museum.
Yeah, definitely children's museum mixed with subway map, I would say.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a corporate Memphis-y look.
Yeah.
It looks very expensive. I do like it, though, I must say. I love the colors. I love the weird shapes. I think they're doing something different, which I appreciate.
It's got 80s McDonald's going on with the seats, although they're a pink color, a light pink. That's an interesting color.
Yeah, I really like the bauble string lights. It's a good touch. This is easily the most thoughtful color palette of any booth we've seen today.
I love the rotating sign, and even the logo Pokey has some interesting graphic design. It's a little quirky. It has like some water contained by the giant O.
I see a Subway Surfers logo on the Pokey screen, so I have a feeling we are about to be very disappointed when we find out what these people actually do.
I know, that's the nature of things. Also, there's candy over here, and I want to grab some. I'm going to grab some nerds. I haven't had nerds in forever. This is a great day for me. We haven't properly eaten yet. But this Pokey booth, they're serving coffee. They got these like 70s McDonald's, 80s McDonald's seats here. It's glorious. This orange like lantern lights around this like orange kind of scaffolding. There's the rotating sign at the top. There's the sign that says Connect that points down. Very cool booth, honestly. I don't want to know what Pokey is because I'm enjoying the booth too much.
I think at this point, I can make a confident assessment of the space. Last year, things reeked of desperation and sadness. This year, it's like a graveyard of bullshit, right? Like whatever energy existed last year sort of settled into just nonsense.
Okay, so we have Lightspeed Studios. Here we go. We have here's one of our big players. We have AWS over here. Lightspeed Studios, very blue carpeting, blue trim, some blue and white, innovation, globalization, passion, all those things wrapped into one. More AliExpress looking chairs, but very, very light and slightly less nice looking, but much larger is the AWS booth that has sort of a green, blue, I don't know what is going on with the design of this booth.
Important update from the news desk. A little research indicates that Pokey is a mobile-forward web game storefront, so something similar to Game Jolt, but for phones. Honestly, pretty innocuous given everything that's here today.
Okay, so all in all, Pokey is the winner so far. That's been by far the most interesting booth, and it seems to be for something relatively innocuous. But yeah, how would you describe? I don't like the design of this AWS booth. It's unwieldy. It's kind of just looks disconnected. The colors don't make much sense with each other.
Somehow, some way, they have gentrified bisexual lighting, and I'm upset about it.
That was too good.
Okay, we don't have anything to add. I think over here is the meta thing. We don't need to look at it. It's blue and white. There's a circular thing around it. There are people queuing up. What are they queuing? Okay, I need to see what they're queuing up for.
Queuing up to use a product that you can already easily buy at the store.
Okay. I need to investigate this, though. Oh, okay, there's like a circular kind of seating area on the outside, and then people are queuing up to try some product here. This is quite a large booth. Also feels unwieldy and sort of just glooping out in different directions. Less attempt at a coherent design than the AWS booth, so it's less sad. Pizza. We need to get food at some point soon. So, oh my God, what the heck is this? Look at this. What do you think? What do you think about this, Max?
Oh, what are you pointing at?
The wall right here, the design.
Oh, we got some shifting Hunger Games looking cubes over here. Amazon Game Lift, another project offering games that probably won't be relevant to anybody. Fun fact, I still have a pair of wood grain plastic Amazon shades from Lumberyard. Remember that one?
Oh yes, Amazon. I knew somebody who worked there. I do actually like the design of this sign. It's kind of cool. It's a giant unwieldy thing. This is a very strange structure. It's kind of the most sad and weird to me. Looks like my friend Ty might be trying to get some of this pizza right here. So we might take a brief break and come back for round 2 in a second. Okay, I'm in search of a salad right now. My friend just stopped to get a pizza, but they were only selling pizzas. And I don't know where the booth that sells salads are, so I guess I'll react to a few of these things while I'm on my way. Powerful, the future of gaming. We have, what is this, Rift Storm? What is this booth? Okay, we have Code CWA, and they have a bouncy castle-looking thing. We got gears, we got red design. If you've seen the design of their logo, you've seen it before. There was a game union rally and an announcement of a game union thing yesterday that I was part of, I guess, or at least I was wandering around with them, and that was a lot of fun. Okay, yeah, well, this is encased, very gamer lapped, but it's more minimal. We got these black squares with a sort of white bluish trim, very cube-like. Arbitrum. I think I mentioned Arbitrum before. Wow, okay, this is much more functional kind of cheap wood design here with in-world. A little bit of a confusing booth. It looks like a desk, like an IKEA type desk that you might buy. It has that sort of light trim color, beige trim with a sort of a weirdly gray-blue carpet. And then there's a little sort of little encased thing on the top with some can lights. The beige has this sort of pegboard design. Building your own AI engine, models, no RAG, no fine-tuning, no prompt management. Skip the complexity, use in-world framework. Okay, I need to fucking find this. Let's react. I want to react to the game history gallery, but I want to do that later because I need to find where food is. Wow, this is a fascinating combination of colors with Gamera games here. It's certainly eye-catching. Right next to a giant Gran Turismo car, a fella Sony Honda Mobility. But we can't react to the Gamera games with the blue and bright orange design. Wow, that is eye-catching yet, because I need to get a salad, and I've finally found the pathway underneath the expo halls in which I can find that salad, hopefully. So I'm going to try to achieve food right now, and I will hopefully have energy fueled up to finish this, and my friends won't all have left me, and I can find them again so that we can resume with their amazing, insightful commentary. Okay, brief update. I have achieved my salad. I found it. I bought orange juice. Let's make a cut through here through Hall E, 20 to 25, Center Hall entrance. Okay, so we got Brazil games. We got games from Chile. We got Italy. We got Spain. These all have more low-key and somewhat inviting. Some interesting colors. I like the colors of the Italy one. It's the Italian flag in the logo when it says Italia. The Spain one's not as much of a fan. It's an orange color. Games from Spain. The Chile one looks nice. This is like a red, what is this? Like, it looks like a recording booth material. The logo is really cool. It's a sort of a maroon red with stars around the Chile. These seats have a really cool sort of wobbly dimensions to them. The table looks a little cheap, but the seats are padded too. It's quite nice. I like that booth. Not as nice as the one we went to earlier, but you know, it can't all be 10 out of 10. An 8 out of 10 is perfectly acceptable. Debug like a Hero Sentry. I don't like this flooring. We just got a wood flooring here that doesn't really match color-wise. IATSE. Okay, so here's an IATSE booth. Sort of near-ish, but not next to the Code CWA booth. Toxicity. Okay, let's walk this way. Toxicity mod. Okay, this is the Tox mod thing. I think it's supposed to be a mod to like remove toxic players or something. I remember seeing this last year. Oh, here we have some metal pins. What did they say? Starbase user manual. Okay. There's no one sitting at this Tox mod booth. It kind of is a white, encased in this light white framing. And we got some gamer blue lights. We got some beige, gray, green carpeting, some like cube seats. We have a very green and small NVIDIA booth over here. Strong red and black theme with the Code CWA booth. So I appear to have found my friends here. Now I'm going to partake of the salad, and then we'll try to continue recording in a second. So currently I'm with Max and Leo. We're looking for Ty. Ty just disappeared into the ether. Was at the Code CWA booth.
Smallest NVIDIA booth I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so green.
It's like a porta potty.
It's so green too. It is so green. Yeah, I was walking by here earlier. I do like the country pavilions up here.
It's like Epcot, but way less cool.
Yeah, I really hate this color of carpet. This like blue, black, whatever. No Oasis gooey. These padded cube seats. So I've already talked about some of these. Tox mod. I think this is a mod for like,
I've experience with this. This is a mod for like online play moderation that you can integrate. It's voice based. We used it for Among Us VR.
That makes sense. That's one of the things where I have an idea of what it is. So I marveled at this for a while. This Gamera Games.
Can they call it that? That's a kaiju. Gamera got here first.
True. I don't know. Maybe there's no copyright in the U.S. for it. But these colors. Oh man, these colors. This purple and orange. You never think of those things going together, but it does stand out.
Yeah, it's like my Roku City on my Roku TV is like this.
This game looks like what is this? It actually looks kind of cool.
This looks like Monument Valley in terms of like style, isometric, low poly.
Stario Haven Tower. Look that up, folks. The Rewinder trailer. Okay. I think these might be Chinese games.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
Yeah. This actually has some quite good pixel art.
I've been noticing, on the whole, a lot of the games that I've been looking at on the floor this year, be it here or in any of the outside events, color palette, they've been, like, on the whole, devs are finally understanding how color theory works, and it's making a lot of games look a lot better.
There are some very nice-looking indie games out there. I've noticed a lot more Chinese indie games, too. I feel like they're getting more interesting. I have no idea where Ty went, but we're going to forge ahead to this game history gallery, because I do actually want to look at this. So I saw Frank's talk yesterday about various efforts they went to preserve different collections. So we'll look a little bit. Oh, they called it Lost Levels, which is funny. I guess there's no inherent branding on it, but it's funny because that's what the thing at GDC every year that people do talks in the park is called Lost Levels. But yes, unreleased games for the Nintendo Entertainment. Okay, so they have some unreleased games set up here. We have Buzz and Wall Dog. This was a South Korean game. We have, what's this other? We have Super Sushi Pinball. We have California Raisins, The Grape Escape. This also was a magazine cover story in Game Players magazine and was overseen by Capcom, but squashed by it does sound like Capcom, like the music. You can play it. I'm just going to wander over here for a sec. We have a photo booth, Super Sushi Pinball. This is the one that Frank talked about, how it has nothing to do with sushi, but it starts with a whole spiel of explaining sushi to Western audiences who were just getting accustomed to the idea of sushi. I think this was one of Sony's first games. Yeah, it is actually a pretty cool looking pinball game. We have the digital archive here. We have a bunch of games. in a box here. Chesterfield by Vic Tokai. Game Tech Super. Oh, this is Commodore 64 thing. Agina's Prophecy. New Kids on the Block game. Encased in a sort of what's it like, WADA games or whatever, those preservation, not collector sort of things. An ad for Euphoria. That's cool.
I have been getting Hebereke pilled in recent times, so this is interesting to me.
Yeah, so the name of the game Dysphoria actually comes from Euphoria. I mean, it comes from gender dysphoria too, but it also comes from Euphoria, the game. A 1992 video game preview guide. There's a box for the California Raisins, the Grape Escape. There's also a Jalico game called War on Wheels. Looks like this might be like a prototype cart or maybe just a repro cart for Gimmick, a U.S. release of Gimmick, aka Mr. Gimmick, and then a Pitfall. Oh, is this Super Pitfall? I'm fascinated by I'm fascinated by Super Pitfall. Bizarre game. Oh, a school bus driver game by Fisher Price. I feel like I could talk about these for a while, but Frank is actually on this podcast and probably has more interesting and insightful things to say. So I'll let him probably do that. Across this booth, we have something for SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design. I wish Ty was here. Ty was an alum of Savannah College Art and Design. Actually, I'm going to pause for a second while we look more at this, admire the nice things in this booth, and soak in the atmosphere of lost NES games. Okay, I'm here with both Leo and Max, but also Justin. Say hello, Justin.
Hello, Justin.
So we just came up with an idea. We were talking to Frank earlier. We had a great conversation. Frank was showing us this list of 552 unreleased NES games, and we came up with an idea to do a game jam based on the games that there is no documentation. We don't know what the games are. So look for that in the future.
NES title jam.
Yeah, Justin might be bringing that forth. But now we're continuing our walk with the floor, and we're in the games from different countries. I mentioned the Spain and Italy booth a little bit, but what do you guys think? I like the Chile one. I like the design of that logo.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's like kind of nationally pride forward without being obnoxious about it.
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned before we started recording, the Japan booth is doing a sake tasting every day at 2:00. So they are certainly selling the culture of Japan, I guess.
Yes, people in Japan definitely do drink sake quite a bit.
I think it's interesting because traditionally GDC has just been kind of like the Japanese industry is kind of ambivalent towards a presence here. So their booth is really nice.
Yeah, there's also a separate. It's not a country booth, but they have like the Tokyo Game Show has a booth here this year.
Oh, I see the TGS booth right over there.
And you can get a business card if you want a shirt.
We can walk over there in a second. These are Madrid. These are some games from Spain. These look, I don't know. The design of the booth is a little more.
They're very corporate.
Very, very corporate. Yeah. The Italy one is interesting. It's kind of like, what is this? Is this just? Okay, this is just some kind of. Yeah, this is just a hangout spot. It's like some kind of just canvas over. I was wondering if it was like some heavier material, but no. It's like a hangout spot surrounded by some IKEA furniture.
I'm actually really happy to see like there's an India pavilion, which I don't remember like India having anything at GDC in the past. Like maybe they did, but I don't remember. Or like the Brazil. Like I feel like I'm seeing countries where you don't see games from in mainstream commercial spaces, like setting up these, like that's a fancy looking booth.
Yeah,
right? So
it is not as big as the games developed in New York State one over there, though, which is kind of funny.
They had further to come. Like India is a further trek.
Yeah, it's true. It's just funny thinking of comparing New York State to the population of India. But yeah, we have Thermite games, the bus. What is this? Oh, this is a giant screen for this game called The Bustling World. It's actually quite nice. It's the biggest screen that I've seen advertising a game in this. There's Sentry Debug Like a Hero. There's some Thermite games. Not a lot of interest here. Okay, we have the Brazil booth. What is your reaction? What is your reaction to the Brazil booth? Leo, what do you think?
It's a booth That's my only reaction. Not as well done as Chile's booth.
Brazil has a lot more people than Chile, I think, too. So you need to up your game, Brazil.
Well, it looks like Brazil is like a banner under which a bunch of independent Brazilian devs are showing their games, whereas the Chile booth is more like there are screens showing off games, but it's not. There aren't, at least as I can tell, like devs on the floor showing their games in the same way.
That's true. That's probably a result of the fact that there are much more Brazilian games because there are more people in Brazil. This screen for this bustling world is huge.
The Brazil booth actually has two from Brazil in like some sort of like catering setup.
Oh yeah, what is it? Okay, we need to.
There's food. We have to investigate.
We got mini chicken taquitos. We got beef empanadas over here. We got butternut squash arancini, portobello arancini. He said come back at 4:00. We just wanted to report on that. This is a very important reporting on the
food. It's cultural.
GDC bites.
GDC bites.
What is the grossest thing that you've eaten at GDC? Comment down below.
Yes, please comment. Actually, that is an interesting. Yeah, we have games from Japan. I don't know. It's interesting. Oh, these like weird little glass backdrops to this. We have a small, very small booth for games from Uruguay, which is interesting. What do you think about the Japan booth here, right here? Like these sort of plexiglass backdrops with the sort of etched logo of the game in it.
You might still be able to get some sake. It looks like they're still open.
Oh, okay.
If you want this to turn into a drunk cast.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they're allowed to serve alcohol on the show floor.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go for it.
Okay, yeah. Well, it looks like Leo's getting in line for it. Well, you know what? Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. It's time. Kampai time indeed.
So this is we actually were able to drink sake. This is officially the most fun that I've had at the expo floor, at least in the past several years.
I got to have a sample of fantastic plum wine.
This yuzu sake was quite good too.
It tasted wonderful. I held the flavor in my mouth and savored it. Enjoyable, exquisite experience.
We got to have a nice conversation with Frank. We got to have some candy. The sake was quite good. We have games from Poland. Oh my God, what is this? Okay, I don't know how to describe this setup. It's kind of this is definitely giving corporate office building the blazing sign that is blinding me with its light of over top that says Poland, business forward. They're really going for a kind of corporate theme, but the brightness of this light burns into my soul.
It has news. Forgotten PlayStation mascot Toro Inoue has been sighted at GDC.
All right, let's go over here. Let's go over here to investigate.
Toro sighting. Toro is wearing a green bow tie and looking very pleased to be here.
What is this game? What is it? It looks like a multiplayer game.
It's called Fruit Mountain, I think.
Okay.
And my sense is, I watched somebody playing it earlier, and I could be totally wrong, but I think it's like a matching game where you have got a huge plate that you drop fruit onto, like three-dimensional objects.
Like 3D Suica game, essentially.
Yeah, it's. I think it's like a match 3 game, but like in 3-dimensional space where you're trying to get groups of the same kind of fruit together.
And so they have like live physics.
And they have live physics. So if they'll like fall off of the plate or whatever if you're too sloppy about it.
I'm a big fan of
how it works. That I've just invented a good game. So either way,
we're inventing all kinds of things today. I like giant mountains of fruit, so...
Also, they're anime girls, so,
Yeah, well, obligatory.
Visually, the presentation on this is admittedly very nice. This is I like the conceit of this.
Yeah, see, they just matched an apple on an apple.
What is this game over here? Looks like a sort of a prototype Nobi boy over here on the screen. We shouldn't wander too far in this direction, but I do want to see what else is here on this booth.
It's a voice-activated cat fighting game where you talk to the cats using a microphone and then they fight.
Oh, and they have a nice little QR code for each of the things right here, so you can take a picture and I guess look up the QR codes for each of them.
I like that. Yeah, every dev is represented in one poster.
So, I mean, I like the plexiglass with the logos, and I like that Some of the design I'm not a fan of, but like it is very approachable, I will say. So I'd say overall this is a good...
Are you going to be taking photos and posting them like in the show notes, or are they just going to have to use their imaginations?
They're going to have to use their imaginations, but Max is just taking a photo of the QR code thing.
Okay.
I like the idea that they have to use their imaginations, though.
You're going to imagine something way cooler.
You have to psychically intuit the QR codes from the sounds of our voices. Think very hard.
The dividers in between the game booths are like this sort of cage desktop computer kind of encasing thing, and we got some like it's an interesting pattern. Game Center, not to be confused with the NYU Game Center, with the sort of interesting patterns of like neon technology, blue, yellowish, purplish. But I want to wander this way because this Poland sign is blaring into my soul with its
half of these look like banks. Half of them look like banks.
Isn't this the most like my mind is being reprogrammed for evil like sign that you have seen?
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, my corneas are not happy about that.
No, my corneas are very not happy about this booth. The booth otherwise looks like a corporate office, kind of. It's very square. It's got some shiny like backdrops for each of the games. On the inside, there's like a little lounge area again with the classic sort of white IKEA furniture with the metal seats on it. And now we're getting to the end of this side of the expo floor. I know we missed part on the other side, but there's just a giant assortment of empty seats now. We're in liminal zone a little bit here. Yeah, we're fully in liminal zone, but we're about to get to the IGF booth over here. They always put it on the far end, I guess, at this point. It is easy to access if you enter from one of the sides.
It's always the close end for me because I always come in from this side.
Yeah.
IGF is right up front for me.
Yeah, I think they do that on purpose. Although it is interesting that alt control is... Okay, so I want to say, I do find these booths fascinating.
Oh, the fish tanks.
Yeah, the fish tank. Is that what they're called?
I don't know. I made that up because that's what they are.
Yeah. So the fish tank. Okay, so there's a little exhibition of games here that's not IGF, but is not alt control, which is on the other side of the floor.
I don't like that they moved alt control to the other side.
Yeah, neither do I. It does feel kind of othered now.
Maybe they're doing it so that they're trying to get more people to walk over to that side of the floor. I don't know. That's my...
Isolated over there. Like, I was not looking... Like, I felt like I wasn't able to give the stuff the right attention. And that's it.
I don't know. I feel like the backdrops get more and more minimal every year, although it does seem to be buzzing a little bit. It does seem to be quite a few people here. Sometimes when I've gone, like, there haven't been that many people around, like... And it kind of bums you out when you kind of sort of come and there aren't that many people sort of wandering in and out. But it seems more crowded and busy today, which is good. You want this to be crowded.
I wish that more developers would actually be at their booths in IGF.
Yeah, that used to be more of a thing. I feel I'm kind of two ways about it, because on one hand it makes it better if you're trying to approach somebody and talk to them about their game. On the other hand, it does suck to stand around in front of your game and just
the same conversation over and over again.
Yeah, and have people be like, well, that was weird, or whatever. So I don't know.
I think there are a number of international developers who maybe didn't want to travel to the United States right now, and I'm sympathetic to that.
I think it's increasingly been a thing post-COVID, because I've noticed it too with IGF jurying in the past, that we've definitely had people who just don't want to come because of COVID or expensive. Right. And that's true with experimental game showcase as well, that a lot of it's just... Even independent of the political situation, travel is a big concern, cost of travel.
I know that the Thunk is not currently local. He did not come. Sorry.
It's an international Thunk instead of local Thunk. So yeah, and while we're in the midst of the IGF booth, I might pause the recording so that we can talk to people who may or may not want to be recorded. And I do want to actually look at the games right now, so I'm going to take a break from recording for a sec. We're now at 4 p.m. The multiple hours, 3 hours since we started. I have no idea where Ty is. Justin's talking to somebody, but we need to finish because Max needs to get something to eat. We are at the end of the floor here. There are a few other things. A GDC startup. I think it is interesting because in the past I know that they have, like, the IGF has been at the end of the floor and this has been mostly empty, but it seems like there's a few more things there So these are, I guess, different companies in this GDC startup with this sort of template. And there's an industry stage, and this one is not encased in a cube like it has been before. It looks like a legitimate, just small room from West, except recreated down here and sort of cordoned off.
Yeah, the state of the industry panel. I can only imagine the vibes emanating from this stage right now.
I can see fear on their faces. I can see sadness.
The vibe is, as they say, in shambles.
Although this panel seems pretty full. It seems like a lot of people are at this, actually.
Well, that's encouraging, because even if the vibe is in shambles, people are tuned into it. The worst thing that could happen is people check out.
Okay, we need to comment on whatever the hell this thing is.
What is that? This is so there's weights attached to the arms and the feet, and it is to have force feedback for like walking or picking things up. So you'll notice there's two long arms that are sort of attached to pneumatics, and they're moving up and down, and they're all lit up. And so you grip these like handles within these arms,
which have these sort of blue triangular LED lights on them.
And then if you notice the feet, there's like paddles on the feet, and so as you step up and down, you get resistance with stepping and also sort of moving your arms up and down. And there's also a VR attachment or a VR heads-up display on their head, and this is to like simulate picking up things that are very heavy and sort of other. I think what I've read is this is for like location-based games, or like you set up somewhere in like a convention, or like a destination type thing, or like a theme park where you're there and you spend $15 to play this particular thing for 5 minutes, that sort of thing.
It seems like a very theme park sort of thing. It makes me think of those games where you like hammer down and have the thing go up. This is Ethereal Matter Incorporated, by the way. It looks like a futuristic VR exercise machine, basically.
It looks kind of like a torture machine, I've got to say. You know, you've got your arms up and you're entrapped in this cube of some kind, and there's lights, and it may not be very pleasant. So it looks like you're being tortured. It kind of looks like Pilates equipment, which also looks like torture devices of some kind.
Isn't that what exercise machines are, really? Okay, so we're at the end. We've reached a liminal zone here with more just chairs and various accoutrements. I think there's one or two, ID8.xyz, generate, paint, refine. What is this?
These look like a lot of AI companies generating assets for games. Like there was
We're finished. So Justin came back. We're offering our finishing thoughts. Ty is gone. Max needs to eat food. There's one or two booths that we might have missed, but it's okay. It's whatever.
I think we got a pretty comprehensive look at everything.
Yeah,
So what are our overall thoughts?
On IGF?
Just the overall lay of the floor. How would you rate it? What were the highlights that you remember? We'll start with you, Leo.
The highlight was the Discord booth, which we did not go through, but is modeled after an old, antique video store. So it's very elaborate, very expensive. I like the booth that was like the Como 90s orange, I forget the name of it, which probably doesn't bode well for the company, but it was very elaborate and very nice. I would say people need to use brighter colors, people need to use more pastels and have more pleasant shapes, and just use more imagination, because that creates a more pleasant environment. Everything else is very angular and square, and it's very alienating, so we should leave and look at more organic shapes in the soon.
Take a lesson from that, what was it, Pokey booth or whatever? Take a lesson from the Pokey booth. Justin, thoughts?
Yeah, so this is a much smaller year for GDC. Like a lot of the huge companies like Epic or Unreal or something that usually have enormous...
Epic had a giant booth last year. I did not.
They always do, right? And I think part of it is that like everybody is poor now, right? Like they don't want to spend that much money on this floor prep.
I don't think Epic is poor, but I think relative to where they were,
poor is in quotes, but the
they're not spending the money they used to.
Yeah, so
we're not in that 0% interest rates anymore.
Yeah, so we've also had lots and lots and lots of layoffs in the industry, right? And something that historically these huge companies have done is like free lunches for people at GDC. And
we did get free sake.
Yeah, that's true. But That's not. I mean, maybe it will be the sake that eats like a meal if you drink enough of it. But I feel like given the price of food in San Francisco and the fact that like these are the companies that laid off a bunch of people, this would be the year to give everybody some free lunches as they're looking for jobs, but they didn't. And I don't know. On one hand, I love not seeing a bunch of business suits dudes taking over all of GDC. Like, I think it's probably better for the culture and vibe of the space, for me anyway. But on the other hand, they're missing an opportunity to spread some of their largesse to the employees that they've already hurt to some degree. Like, really, you're not going to like give out popcorn and cookies anymore? Also, popcorn and cookies is definitely a meal.
I remember the popcorn just catastrophe of last year where the free Epic popcorn just littered the Video Game History Foundation booth.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite booth of the ones I've seen.
Oh, it was absolutely, but that goes without saying.
Yeah, because they care. They actually care.
Yes, I mean, if you listen to this podcast, you already know that.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have any other thoughts?
No, I figured I would take an anti-capitalist, give us food.
Yes. So conclusion: more free food. Max, any final thoughts?
Well, as Leo and Justin have both said, this is an interesting year in that it's definitively the time where the roaring 20s of video games are over.
And now we're in the depressing 30s.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. The big spend, pageantry, and glitz. Enabled by, I don't know, economic headwinds and growth for video games. All that wind got socked out of the sails. Last year kind of felt like we were waiting for the shoe to drop. I feel like the shoe has dropped. And what's left? You have people pulling in a bunch of different directions. You have all the AI startups and like people trying to automate. I feel like, now that money's tight, there's a real push from a lot of these like fly-by-night startups with this and that and other tools that are promising to cut human beings out of the equation. But at the same time, I feel as if the IGF showing is really strong this year.
Always is.
A lot of I was really impressed with the Video Game History Foundation booth. I was really like a lot of culture forward stuff that's still persisting here that's kind of filling the gap. I don't say that there's like a definitive current of which way the wind is blowing because I think everybody's trying to figure out what's next. But the fact that even after the glitz times are over, the more human parts of GDC are persisting come hell or high water. This has been kind of a weird show for me, but I'm feeling a little better having walked the show floor.
Weirdly, I am too, which has not been the case. I mean, I started recording this in 2022, where it was just full on, blockchain stuff. And then we watched that die out, and then Gen AI was really big. And we still saw some of that this year, but those booths weren't as big as they were. I am surprised that you're right that it doesn't feel is way more insightful than I would have said on this
You said
pod.
what I was trying to say, only you said it good.
It
just
does
wanted to complain about the food.
Yes.
I'm also going to complain about the food. What the actual shit? At least give us like airline pretzels or something.
Yeah, that would be nice. So in conclusion, more free food, more colorful booths, but also what Max said, I think is
Stop laying people off.
Well, yes, obviously stop laying people off. But I think what Max said is interesting because it does feel like there are a lot of different directions of things, but there's no dominant sort of strain right now. And I think I don't know, I feel like the IGF booth seems a little busier than it has been when I've looked at it, and even though a lot of developers don't attend to show their games as much as they used to, I do feel like there's some desire for something else. We'll see where things go, but it's a very interesting sort of weird transitional year, I think, in a lot of different ways, and that's embodied by the show floor, but it does not depress me nearly as much as 2022, especially when it was desolate hellscape.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that the lack of the big companies is benefiting the IGF area a lot, because people are looking for things to do because they can't just hang out and like leech off of Tim Sweeney's largesse or whatever, but they need something to do. And I think you're talking about the crowds at the IGF booth. Like, it is to the benefit of all of these independent developers that it is just funneling traffic to them because they're here and the other folks aren't. So it's good for indies in the long term, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, I've always complained about how the IGF booths have gotten more spare and less interesting and taken up less space over time. But I don't know. I'm at least happy that it seems like there are more people around than there were when I've looked like the last couple years. But I don't know. We'll see where things go. I also like the sort of strain of more and more of these sort of games developed in different countries. I saw a lot of that last year, more so. So that's a trend that's continuing. We'll see where things go, you know?
I want to see if I can walk out of this year's show with an IGF award that I didn't win. I have Venbas from last year. Hey, Venba devs, if you're listening to this, I've got your award that you walked out of here without. Please send me an email.
Oh dear, that was a grand prize award.
Yeah, I also got Undertales because Toby didn't come, but he asked me to mail it to him, so I did. But if one of these folks walks out of here without their award again, I will rescue it, and it will go into my office until they say, please send it to me.
Yeah, ask Justin to send, Venba team, ask Justin to send
I have no
the
way
award.
of getting in contact with them. I don't know them. I don't know their email.
Okay, well, maybe they'll hear this. Maybe the signal has been sent out. But this is the concluding thoughts. It's 4:12 p.m., Thursday, March 20th, 2025. That's the state. You've gotten as thorough as an overview as you could possibly get. So there you go. Enjoy.
Insert Credit Gaiden is a production of Insert Credit, edited by me, Esper Quinn, with original music by Kurt Feldman. Thanks for listening.